Welcome back to CryptoWise. My name is Marvin.
And my name is Milton.
That is right. And we've got a big show here for you guys today. We've got a crazy big show. We're talking crypto, we're talking altcoins, we're talking everything you want to know. We're revealing the next big giants. That is right. Stay tuned. You don't want to miss this show. As always, guys, if you haven't already, please do us a huge favor and subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button. I see we've got 36 people in here so far and only 14 likes. What is going on, guys? Show some love. We love you. Show some love back. Dave, how you doing? WebHack7, how are ya? B-Sides. Wow, Vapor Smooth. Ooh, okay. Michael. Adrian, how are ya? Guys, welcome all to the channel. It's going to be an awesome day. Everything in crypto. Things are going absolutely mayhem. If you don't...
Marv.
Yeah. What's wrong?
Marv, I got to cut in already because the people are right. Give the people what they want. Your mic is too low. That music was a little too low today.
The music was low or I was low?
A little bit of both there. Let's get some Marv. We need the Marv. We need to pump up the Marv. People want the Marv pumped up.
What do you want about? What do you want about? Is my mic low? What are you talking about? Anyway.
Yeah, Shell Palmer says sound is messed up. Milton, you are okay. The other guy's low. A lot of other people saying that your audio was low.
No, Devon saying he hears me now. Okay, he hears me now. Can you stop ruining the show, Milt? You know, I know you think it's your show, but I'm a part of it.
Well, I'm going to try to make it to the end today, so people better watch out.
Mark is low. Anyways, listen, things are going crazy. I want to jump right into this, Milton, because we don't have all the time in the world. Crypto doesn't sleep. Things are up and things are down. We need to talk. We've got a bunch of big things happening, and I want to share it with our audience. If you don't already, please follow us on Twitter and our amazing Telegram group. See the link below, CryptoWise Official. We've got a lot of people in there talking Telegram in our Telegram group 24/7. So you want to do that and smash that like. 46 people. Hey, Ryan, what is up, my friend? Okay, guys, let's jump right in, shall we? We've got some crazy news coming out. There's bullish news all over the place, Milton. You can now buy NFTs.
Marv, the people are still talking. They're saying that you're too low. I'm too loud and you're too low. We got to fix this because people are upset. Okay. The messages are going crazy here. You got to be louder and I got to be quieter.
You got to be quiet. Okay, can you just... We're going to pop over to you for a sec then while I work on this audio issue here for a second, okay?
All right. Sounds good.
I'm going to give you the screen since my sound is very low.
All right. Well, it won't surprise everyone that my screen is on the DOT chart, okay? Because everyone knows that I love DOT, but I wanted to have a look here at this DOT Ethereum chart, because this is the kind of chart that a lot of the major alts are looking like right now because of the Ethereum pump. And this is what I am looking at. I know Marv's looking at this. What is the next wave of this alt cycle? Marv's going to have a look at the overall market once we get his sound issue all figured out. But this is a quick chart I want to look. So this is the .eth chart. Look at the run-up that we had at the beginning. So this is the beginning here of 2021, mid-January. We had DOT kind of rise up against ETH like crazy. And then this is the leg down that's happened. And so we just think, and we've talked about this on the show before, that we think that DOT is such a great play right now. And I'm going to be talking in today's episode about Parachains. The Parachains are coming, people. Parachains are coming. I'm so excited about this. If you have been watching the channel for a long time, you'd have to be watching from the very beginning, because one of the very first episodes that I made of CryptoWise, it's all the way down here. It's this one here. It's called The Next Huge Thing in Crypto. That was all about PolkaDot Parachains. That was 6 months ago. So I am not a DOT bandwagon jumper, okay? And a month from now, when Parachains are all the go, everyone's talking Parachains left, right, and center. I want you guys to remember that CryptoWise Milty has been talking about Parachains for months, 6 months ago. If you haven't watched this video, most of you haven't because it was an early video. It does a great job of explaining the importance of Parachains. And that's what we're also going to be talking about today because they are coming, people. They are so close. Parachain auctions are coming. PolkaDot Decoded. That is the major PolkaDot conference. They had one a few months ago. The next one is on May 19th, May 20th. And I think this is the time. So I know we talk about DOT a lot on the channel, but get ready. We're going to be talking even more because I need you to understand that this might be your last chance to get into DOT the next few weeks and Kusama at these prices. Because I know that kind of overall they've underwhelmed compared to something like a Solana, Polygon, even some of these other kind of layer 2 solutions, Cardano even. I think DOT's time is around the corner. And if you're like us and you...
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. You're a little bit quiet.
What are you on? Is it still quiet?
Ask the people. I hear you fine, but I do seem like I'm louder than you are.
Well, it might be your...
Maybe you just got to talk louder.
Listen. Can everybody hear me? It's still the same. Michael says still the same. It's worse. All right, continue, Milty. I don't know what's going on. I'm working on it over here. You go ahead.
All right, you work on it over there. I'm going to be talking Parachains here, okay? Because this is what I really wanted to get into on this episode, guys. So why don't I just jump right in? Poor Marv, you know, he's having some sound issues. Last episode, it was me. I just conked right out. I totally crashed. My computer totally crashed. I disappeared. Marvin took over and did about a 2-hour show without me at the end there. But let's talk Parachains, people. Okay, so I need people to understand what Parachains are. So let's just have a look here. So this is the visualization of the PolkaDot ecosystem. In the middle, we've got the relay chain. And then there it is in the middle here, the relay chain. And then these outside. So any project that wants to build on DOT or Kusama, they work exactly the same. Kusama is basically a smaller version of DOT, a little bit different in terms of the security on it. You're going to be able to do more kind of quicker, faster things on Kusama in terms of if you're a project and you want to try new things. So it's not a test net, but it's a more smaller than on PolkaDot. So it's the same. It's going to be the same system here. The chains for both Kusama and PolkaDot. Kusama is going to happen first, okay? And I believe it's going to be happening in the next couple of weeks. So I want to explain this in detail. If you have questions, make sure you ask them because this is something you really need to understand. Okay, so in the middle here, that's the relay chain. For Kusama, for PolkaDot, both of them have the relay chain. And then what a project does, it's basically plug and play. They lease out all these things on the outside here. They're kind of like parking spots. If they want a parking spot on PolkaDot, they got to lease it. And that is what the Parachain is. So these are called Parachains. So when we talk about Parachains, that's what we're talking about. They're leasing a spot on either PolkaDot or Kusama. There's a limited amount. On PolkaDot, there's going to be 100 spots. Kusama, we believe, around the same, maybe more. So how this is going to work is all our favorite projects that want to be on PolkaDot, they're going to have to be part of the auction. They have to try to auction a spot onto Kusama or PolkaDot. If they want to be on Kusama, they're going to have a certain amount of Kusama to lease out this Parachain. Or if it's PolkaDot, they need a certain amount of DOT to lease out the Parachain. Okay. So let's just have a look here at another article here. So this is not the one. It's the one I want. There it is right here. Okay, I'm actually already looking at it. Okay, so this is the...
They're saying that your mic went out for a second, but that was because I was resetting some things on the back end here.
Okay, well, now you're super loud, Marv.
I'm loud now?
Yeah, very loud.
Is that true, guys? Am I loud? We've got 87 people here, guys. 87 people. There we are. All right. Thank you very much. Continue, my friend Milton. Continue. Sorry about that.
All right. Yeah, no worries, Marv. No worries. Nice to have you nice and loud and clear. So, okay. So the PolkaDot, this is the image I wanted here. Okay, so this is the process. So now that you understand what a parachain is, if you didn't, most of you probably did. But anyway, the next phase that's going to be happening very, very soon is called the crowd loan phase. So as I said, if projects want a parachain, they got to lease it from either Kusama or Dot. They're going to need a lot of either Kusama or Dot. Now, some of them might just decide on their own that they've raised enough money. They're going to buy it themselves and just go on themselves, just get their own parachain, not worry about getting any sort of borrowing anything from the communities. Most of them, I believe, will be doing this crowd loan. This crowd loan is going to be happening very soon. This is why you need to get ready for this. You need either Kusama or Dot to participate. Now, they're basically these projects who want a parachain. They're going to be asking the community, i.e. you, to borrow either your Kusama and Dot. They're going to be collecting as much as they can in this crowd loan campaign. And in return, they're going to be offering you rewards. And this is what's going to be very interesting to see what projects are offering what kind of yield, because most of it's going to be that you're going to get airdropped their token in exchange for them borrowing your Kusama or Dot. And this is what we don't know yet. How much are you going to get? What is each project going to be offering? But we do know that staking right now in Dot is about 12, 13%. Okay, so if you stake your Dot right now, you can get around 13% right now for Dot. So you got to imagine if they want to borrow my Dot or your Dot, it's going to have to be even more than that 13% to convince me to lend them their Dot and Kusama.
What is this visual we're looking at here? Because it's getting a little boring, this visual.
Okay, I'm sorry. Well, this is just the phases, okay? So we got the crowd loan campaign coming up. This is what's coming up first. And then the auctions are going to be happening. And then when the auction ends, we'll know who gets the parachain. And then there's this parachain lease period.
Got it.
Each parachain lease goes from, has a time period from 6 months to 2 years. So we're going to be in this crowd loan campaign phase, and then we're going to quickly go to parachain auctions. Now, there are going to be 2 parachain auctions for, there's going to be a parachain auction on Kusama every 2 weeks. So once this starts, Kusama and PolkaDot, they're going to be at the center of everyone's attention for probably months, if not years, because this is going to repeat itself. Every 2 weeks, there's going to be, at the start, there's going to be a new parachain auction. So how the auction works, just because I want people to understand this. Okay, so a project either has to get as much Kusama or Dot as they want, and then what they'll do is they'll take part in the auction. Now, they're doing a candle auction, and what this means is there will be a beginning date that is set and an end date that is set. But Dot or Kusama will just pick an arbitrary endpoint. So that kind of incentivizes these projects to put their best bid in at the beginning, so that you don't have people right at the end. Like if you've ever bought anything on eBay, right at the end, someone can kind of come in, just put a big bid in and snatch it out. That's not going to be able to happen here. Projects it's going to be an arbitrary ending. They won't know when it's going to end. And so most projects are going to be wanting to put in their top bid at the beginning. And so that's how these tokens are, these auctions are going to work. And I wanted to talk about this here, Marv, because a lot of people are asking me, and make sure if I'm not being clear, guys, ask me these questions about parachains, because if you get anything from this episode, I want you to fully understand these parachains that know they're coming very soon and how to prepare for them from an investing point of view. So we don't know exactly when they're going to start. We know they're going to be we think they're going to be in the next few weeks, but then how can you participate? So we know that there have been exchanges like Kraken and also KuCoin.
Yeah.
So KuCoin and Kraken, we know for sure. I have a feeling Binance is going to be part of this. I mean, Dot's been buying, yeah. So, but in terms of decentralized plays, this is what I wanted to talk about here. Bounce Finance has come out that they are going to be doing the crowd loans for the Dot. They're teaming up with Dot and Kusama for these crowd loans in a decentralized way. So this is pretty cool. This is the only decentralized option I know to take part in these crowd loans. So Bounce Finance, I think, is an interesting project for people to look at right now, because if they do become, down here, as it says here, the decentralized crowd loans. So crowd loans are currently offered by centralized exchanges, which are subject to counterparty risk for participants. Bounce Finance is the first and only decentralized solution right now. I don't know of any other offering crowd loans and terminating third-party risk. So for me, this is what I'm looking into. And because if Bounce actually becomes the only decentralized option for entering into these crowd loans, then I think Bounce token is a really interesting play here. It's over 50% off its all-time high. Just to talk about the all-time high here was $70.56. It's down around $37. So I'm looking at Bounce right now. This is a little side note, just because if they are the only decentralized play here for crowd loans, I think they're really interesting.
That's huge. That could be very, very big.
More importantly, though, the idea is this is the time to be collecting. If you want to be taking part in this, and we're going to be talking about all the projects we think are going to get Parachains, or the ones that we think have the best chance at getting Parachains in this episode. And a lot of them haven't launched their token yet. So the only way you can get their token is through lending them Kusama and Dot. Another two key things here, though. You don't lose your Dot or Kusama. You're just lending it to them. Okay. After the time period of their lease expires, whether it's 6 months or 2 years, or anything in between, you get that back. So it's like staking more than it is investing, which is awesome. So the other thing is the project themselves never touches your Dot or Kusama. It all goes into a PolkaDot vault, a Kusama vault. PolkaDot Kusama control it. The project knows that they can borrow your Dot or Kusama for the Parachain, but they don't get to touch it. So the safety is there. You don't have to worry about any sort of project saying they're going for a Parachain, but they're actually not. They're just trying to get your Dot or Kusama, although there will probably be scams out there. So make sure you're not getting scammed by anyone. Anyway, Marv, that's kind of an overview of what these Parachains are, how it's going to work, and that it's coming soon. I want to get into the projects in a bit, but anything that I covered that wasn't super clear here that you think I need to go over again?
No, I think it was super clear. I think there's a lot of confusion around what these parachains actually entail. Everybody's kind of hearing these sound bites about parachains and Dot and Kusama. For the majority of retail investors, don't have any idea what it actually means. So I think this is super helpful. What do you guys think? Is this helpful for you? I mean, I think it's important that everyone understands what they actually mean and how they actually work. No one knows exactly the date that they're coming, but they are coming soon. WebHacker is asking if you talk about Parathreads a little bit. And so we don't know exactly when they're coming. Could be any day, any week now. We think that they're coming within the next couple of weeks. But yeah, WebHacker's asking, can you talk a little bit about Parathreads?
Yeah, that's a great point, because I did want to bring this up. So you don't need to have your own parachain to be part of PolkaDot. What you can get is what's called a Parathread, which is the less expensive way to go about this, but it's a pay kind of as you go, basically. So you don't get your own parachain. You're basically paying as you go. So it's like, if you think of leasing an apartment for a year, being a parachain, pay as you go is like, getting a hotel room for a night or that kind of thing. I don't know exactly how long how often they'd have to pay, whether it's a week, a day, or whatever. But essentially it's going to be a block per block. It's going to be a certain amount of blocks, and there'll be a fee to be part of that block, of that PolkaDot block, basically. So yeah, a parachain a Parathread is kind of for the projects that aren't able to get their own parachain, they'll be able to just kind of get a Parathread until they can get their own parachain, or until they can, work out a partnership to be part of someone else's parachain. So there are options out there for people who don't get a parachain or projects that don't get a parachain, and that is the Parathread. So does that make sense, Marv?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I think that's super helpful. And so this is huge. I mean, my belief at least, is that the majority of PolkaDot projects haven't seen anywhere near their gain potential, nor has DOT. And the Parachain part of the equation is a really big part of the next move up for DOT and its ecosystem of projects. And so understanding it a little bit better helps everybody sort of do their own research better and understand where it's headed. And so that's really, really helpful. And I think DOT has underperformed. I mean, look, ETH has moved tremendously over the last couple of weeks. We're seeing all-time high over all-time high over all-time high, and DOT has lagged behind. It's down a little bit over the last couple of days. And so my position is that DOT is one of the next big moves in the crypto basket. And
yeah, totally agree. And that's what I was kind of chatting about when you were trying to get your sound organized there, Marv, was I was looking at the chart of DOT and versus ETH, which is crazy. It's like close to the all-time low you can get DOT versus ETH right now. But this is the Bitcoin DOT chart, which is also interesting because we know that Bitcoin hasn't really done much in the last few weeks. It's kind of been holding steady, and still DOT is still down against Bitcoin in the last few weeks here. So this is the daily chart. So these Parachain auctions it's the supply shock that's going to happen to both Kusama and DOT. We know there are hundreds of projects out there who want to claim that they're going to be PolkaDot projects. If they truly are to become PolkaDot projects, they're going to need to lock up a whole lot of DOT. And you've already got over 50% of the supply of DOT is being used to stake the network. So think about how much supply shock is going to come into DOT at every couple of weeks as a Parachain slot gets leased out. And these leases are going to be, you're going to have a lot of people talk about the next bear run. When's the bear going to happen? When's the bear going to happen? Well, do I need to get out of these coins? Think about this. The Parachains are going to be coming momentarily. So all of Kusama, we don't know exactly like how long the Kusama ones will go before they start the DOT ones. So it could take a couple of months. But if we're in a bull run through the summer into the fall and the Parachains are happening for DOT, and this huge amount of DOT gets locked in for at least 6 months, but maybe 2 years. Okay, DOT could be a bear market proof asset, at least compared to a lot of these other ones, because people aren't going to be able to access that DOT. A ton of it is going to be locked up.
Right. And we know that for a project to get a Parachain, I believe it's between 1 and 2 million DOT minimum right now.
Well, we don't know for sure because it's an auction, but you and I,
we don't know for sure, but we've been talking to a lot of the projects, and their best guess right now is likely between 1 to 2 million DOT and 40 to 50,000 Kusama for the Kusama Parachains. That's the best guess of a lot of the teams that we've been talking to that are behind DOT projects. And so
there's obvious,
that's a significant amount.
Oh yeah. And I think, I'm trying to play this out in my head. Obviously there's 100 slots for Kusama, 100 for DOT. That sounds like a lot, but I think they're going to go quickly. But you got to imagine that the first one's in, there's going to be such an advantage to being the first project locked into a Parachain that they're going to be, their bid will be the highest. So I think over the next few months, we're going to be seeing a ton of really high bids that will slowly go lower and lower and lower. And you're going to get these smaller projects able to get Parachains at a lower cost, when you're into the
but even
60th, 70th
project
Parachain or whatever.
Yeah, that's possible. That's possible. I mean, it could go the other way too. But even if it is $1 million of DOT, call it $1 million DOT. At $1 million DOT, 100 projects, it's 100 million DOT locked in, off the market, not trading. If it's 2 million DOT, you got 200 million DOT locked in, off the market, not trading. And so that's a significant amount and can play a huge role in the actual day-to-day price of DOT. And the same goes for Kusama. And so this is a major, major thing. And don't forget, it's also a way for people to earn tokens for the projects or for the projects that they are actually betting on, right? So if I'm staking for Kylan's a project that we both love, right? And I'm staking DOT for Kylan on a chain. I'm earning Kylan as a reward, right? And that's another way to get a higher yield than just staking DOT, for example. And we expect that those yields for staking your DOT are going to be much higher on a Parachain. Or the reward will be higher than just staking DOT.
Well, you have to imagine, because if you're already staking DOT for 13%,
right?
You know, for me to take my DOT out of staking and get it into these crowd loans, they're going to have to entice me with something better than getting the 13%. So I think the rewards are going to have to be quite high for sure. And at the end of the day, you get your DOT back, which is beautiful, right? Like most of these other projects that you're buying into, you got to pay. You got to actually put the money in. You never get that money out. So in this way, for something like Akala, which is obviously, one of the top projects coming out on DOT, I think they're going to be the first parachain. That's my guess. If you don't know Akala, I recommend following Dan Reeser on Twitter here. He's the VP of growth for Akala, and their sister network is Karura, which is what they're going to be bidding for a Kusama slot. And, if I don't know if any of these odds makers or these prediction markets here, these crypto prediction markets are doing any sort of parachain betting. If any crypto wisers know of any parachain betting, I'd like to get in on some of that predictive market. But my bet would be on Kurara getting the first Kusama parachain. And speaking of Dan, he's got a great video here. If you need to understand this process a bit better than what I was able to explain, recommend if you go to the Akala Network YouTube, there's a video there. It's only 8 minutes. He's done a good job of explaining it there. But so think about it. You get to just collect a bunch of Kusama or DOT, you loan it to Akala, and in 2 years, you still got your DOT, and then you got a bunch of Akala. So that's great. And then a lot of people also ask me, okay, well, what happens after the lease comes up? So if you're Akala, you have a 2-year lease, and then all of a sudden you're going to get kicked off of PolkaDot once your lease is up. Well, there's basically 3 options at that point. And the smart projects, this is what's going to weed out the projects that aren't doing anything. The good projects, they'll be accumulating value over that time. And you would think that at a certain point, they're going to be able to afford, through the valuation of their project coming up, be able to afford to lease the chain on their own at that point.
That's huge. Yeah, that's great. I mean, I think a lot of the viewers are probably wondering, and we're going to get to it, what projects do we think, and you just mentioned Akala, what projects do we think are going to be likely for the first to get changed? Because those are the projects that I want to put my money in. Those are the projects that are likely going to go parabolic as soon as those announcements are made. And so, Milton, what do you think is on your top 5? If you had to name 3 or 4 projects or 5 projects that you think are going to get changed, or just the name your top 1 or 2, doesn't matter. Which ones do you think are the first to get it, aside from Akala, of course, that we just talked about?
So the interesting thing here for me, Marv, is you've got 2 kind of theories here from PolkaDot projects.
Right.
You've got the projects that were like, we're not going to wait, we're going to launch our token. Some of them are actually launching their project on Ethereum.
Right.
So there are some of these tokens of projects out there that I think are going to get parachains that the token is already accessible. Then you got a bunch who decided to wait and said, we're not going to launch until PolkaDot's ready, like Akala. And that's an interesting one, because the only way to get that token is through the crowd loans. Now, there's an interesting thing. One of them, speaking of the ones that I think for sure are going to get them, is a project called Plasma, or not Plasma, Plasm. And I found an interesting article here from them.
That's a lot of tabs there, Milton.
I got a lot of tabs open here. So, okay, yeah. So this is from Plasm. This is from their forum. Okay, so this was an interesting thing. And this goes to the theory behind launching or not launching. He says, this is a frequently asked question that they get from the Plasm community. So to list a token, obviously we need to launch the network. To launch the network, Kusama PolkaDot needs to be ready for Parachains. So the truth is more complicated than you expect. PolkaDot Kusama doesn't have a hot swappable consensus implementation yet. So this means that the independent substrate chain can't become a parachain seamlessly. So essentially what he's saying here is those people, those projects who have already launched a chain project and they think they're just going to be able to become a parachain, he's saying, and this guy is totally, he is on the inside here. Plasm is one of the top projects that I think for sure is going to get a parachain. He's saying why they waited is because they know by waiting, they're going to easily be able to lock into a parachain just from a tech standpoint.
Seamlessly,
but if you've already launched, so that was kind of an interesting tidbit that I had never heard a PolkaDot project say before. So I'm looking at projects. So the projects that have not launched yet that I think are, say, probably my top 3, 4, or 5 that I think are getting a parachain for sure: Plasm, Akala, which I mentioned, Kilt, Moonbeam, and probably Bifrost would be another one. So that might be my top 5 in terms of the ones that have not launched that you might. So if you're collecting Kusama or DOT right now, what you got to be strategizing in your mind, what are the projects you want to be part of the crowd loan for? And I would prioritize the ones that don't have a token yet. Well, so those are my 5, because I think there are some great projects like Kylan out there that you can buy right now. You don't have to, use them to crowd loan, so to speak. But I don't know what's your theory on that, Marv?
Well, I think for me, I don't disagree with any of the projects that you just mentioned, and I agree completely, actually. But at the same time, for me as an investor, right, I plan on participating on the crowd loans, but at the same time, I want large bags of some of these, and I'm betting on the fact that the announcements of the Parachains and the Parachains themselves are going to really move some of these the value of some of these projects ahead and big. And so the fact that Kylan is already out there and it's cheap allows me to grab a big bag of it right now. I agree, Kilt and Moonbeam, of course. I think Sora is likely, for sure, probably going to as well. And so the ability for me to go and get some of these bags, I talked about economy a bit. That's a sleeping giant for me. I think if they're able to pull it off and get on the Parachain or go through that process, that's going to be a major announcement for a $20 million project today. That's a huge, 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 huge boost. And so I want to be able to fill some of these bags. Although I agree with you, there's projects that have waited off, and I've got a lot of DOT and a lot of Kusama waiting because I really want to get in on those. But at the same time, I want to fill my bags on the projects that I think are most likely either quietly right now working towards or most likely going to get it. And there's other projects that I've talked about in the past, like Lit and Reef, that I think have a great chance of also getting it. And so, these are all bags that I want to have because I want to get in the spaceship before it hits the moon, Milt. I don't want to be the guy who is like talking about these things and then boom, the announcements are made.
Well, this is actually, this goes to your point exactly, but I think about it a little bit differently. So this is how I'm thinking about it. If you're a Kylan or, a Phala or Phala, however people want to say that, or a Lit, and you've already launched your token, and a lot of people saying in the chat that Bifrost has already launched their token. I'll have to look into that, but I guess, I'll take their word for it. So if they've launched their token already, okay, I'm thinking part of their thinking was by launching their token, they're doing essentially a raise. They've probably got sort of money that they've collected from that. They've sold a ton of their token already. Did they do that in thinking they're going to buy their own or lease their own parachain and therefore not have to rely on the community? And that's why I want those bags, because if that theory is true, and it's just a theory, I don't know for sure, but I'm thinking, okay, something like Kylan, a lot of it's already sold out there. And let's just have a look at Kylan because we know it's one of our faves here. But
it's not, sorry, but it's not just to get the chain. As a project, as a company, they need to get funded for a chain, but they also need to build a product, right? And so that's not cheap. Having a dev team and having depth in your team and getting ahead and not just being a story requires capital. And so the projects that haven't raised any money, maybe they have quietly, privately with VCs, are they building a product, or is it just a story until they can move forward?
Well, what you can look at, because we can have a quick look here. I think Kylan, now I might be wrong here, but let's just have a look. What you can look at here is also the tokenomics. Okay, so Kylan has the economics here. They've built in the Parachain bond funding into it.
Yeah.
Okay, so they've got 15% of Kylan that they're saying they're dedicating to their Parachain. So that's always interesting to go in and say, okay, have they built in the economics here of a Parachain? And if they have, then it sounds like they're prepared for both options. If they can't crowd loan enough, or they don't want to, they still have it in their budget. And so that's why I'm thinking it just depends, because of the amount of rewards people are going to have to offer people to borrow the Kusama, borrow the DOT. If a lot of the circulating supply of a project is already out there, then, and obviously look, on Kylan, the circulating supply right now is still tiny. So they have a ton of Kylan to play with here to give rewards. So this is all a guessing game. I agree with you. The projects that have already launched, that have tokens that I think are getting parachains, I'm just going to buy them now. I'm not going to be worried if they do come back and they say, we're going to be part of a crowd loan. Will you loan us? If I really like the project, I might also loan them out. But once the news comes out that they get a parachain, whether they buy it themselves or lease it themselves or have to go through a crowd loan, the price is going to skyrocket. I mean,
that's right.
At least for the first few of them, I think that's a for sure. So I think it'd be interesting for us to look at, this is what I've been doing. This is the PolkaDot ecosystem chart here on CoinMarketCap. Okay. If I look at the 7-day, because we just went through this dip, I think some of these projects here, I think we can walk through some of these projects. Do we think they're going to get a parachain or not? And if they're the ones that are at a heavy discount, I think those are ones to definitely be considering.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what I've been doing for a while now. And don't forget, like, it's going to take a lot. If I want a heavy bag in a certain project that I need to stake my DOT or my Kusama in on the chain, how much DOT do I need to get a big enough bag of that project for me to be content, right? And so I can't do that, and I can't spread it across 10 projects. So I'm picking up the bags that I can now on the basis that the projects I believe are going to get parachains and they're going to move forward with it. And so Kylan's a big one. I see Lewis is talking about energy web token. I agree. I think that's a big one too, and an important one to talk about. There's a lot of really, really good projects being built on DOT or towards DOT. And so that's why we're so bullish on it in the first place. Listen, Milton, we have 126 people here right now. We've had hundreds in and out. We've only got 48 likes. Guys, if you do us a huge favor, smash that like button. If you're on your phone, you're going to have to minimize the live chat, smash the like button, and then go back into your live chat. And of course, if you don't already, please do us a huge favor and subscribe to the channel. Click on that notifications bell so you get full-time alerts. We've been in this for 50 minutes, almost 49 minutes, Milty, so far on the live, although I think some of that was the initial sort of loading and my mic issues. Again, sorry everybody for those mic issues. But yeah, so much happening. I think this has been an extremely informative show so far on PolkaDot and the Parachains. If you agree, smash that like button and let us know in the chat what you're thinking. Our super chat is live. And so feel free to shoot over a chat through Super Chat with a donation to the channel. We always appreciate it. Milton, in your mind, if you had to pick one project already trading token out right now that you believe is going to get a parachain, what is it?
I think, one.
Just one. You got to pick just one.
One that I'm already in or not in?
You can be in it already if you want.
Okay,
If you got one.
okay. The one, my favorite is obvious, and I got to talk about this for a second, but I'm gonna say two, okay, because my favorite is obvious. Okay,
Fine.
Sora is my favorite.
Wow.
Okay, in terms of token out there, you know, and I did finally. Okay, so I did finally add liquidity to PolkaSwap. The bridge is working. I was able to move my Sora over. I got to get my rewards, my PSwap rewards, my Val rewards, and I've added all of that into the liquidity pools on PolkaSwap. I love PolkaSwap. The design of it is great, and actually, now that they fixed the bugs, it's working great for me. I'm waiting. A lot of people are waiting for my PolkaSwap video. I promise you, I'm going to be doing one, but there aren't any really real ways to figure out the data from the individual pools and the rewards. They're still working on that. So I'm going to wait for them to release a bit more of all that kind of stuff before I do it. But Sora would be my number one in terms XOR token, PSwap token, Val token, using them in PolkaSwap. That's my number one for sure. Obviously, Kylan I love, but I'm going to say the one that I don't have would be Fala Network.
Yeah.
Fala Network, I think for sure. It's a privacy project on PolkaDot. They're super locked into PolkaDot network. And let's just see what they're off their all-time high here. All-time high was 119. So they're 31% off their all-time high. It's sitting at 80 cents. I don't have any Fala. That's one I really want. Or FA, PHA is the token. But Marv, there's so many. Come on. Like, how can you do that to me?
I know.
Chain X is amazing. Edgeware, Crust, I think. Crust in terms of one that just blew up and had a huge correction. It's an insurance play here on PolkaDot. I think they're getting a Parachain. And look at this big dip they've had off of their all-time high.
What's their market cap at right now? That's a huge dip.
Yeah, huge. Market cap 128 million.
Wow. Yeah, that's a good buy right now. There's no question. I've been watching that for a long time too. Well, no, listen, I'm just speaking for the people because the people want to get direct. They don't want to sugarcoat this crap. They want to know exactly.
Well, what's your number one? What's your number one?
Well, there's not a huge surprise here, and I do have a couple as well. Obviously, one is really, really tough. My biggest bag, full disclosure, is Kylan. There's no doubt. I've been picking up Kylan because I believe it's cheap. I know that the tokenomics weren't great on the release, so I know a lot of private sale people are dumping. And so it's given me an opportunity to build my bag. I'm also super, super bullish and excited for the launch of Kilt. I'm extremely bullish on it, and I look forward to building as big of a bag of Kilt as I can. And I'm really hoping, and you know what I like about them is they haven't marketed it at all. All the marketing has sort of been organic. And they're really focused on the tech and less on the hype, but the hype is growing organically already around the project. I love that. That's a recipe for something absolutely huge. And so that's on my top list as well.
Oh yeah. It's one of my top ones too. I've got the Twitter here because I just noticed 4 hours ago, they said that they did a test where they did cross-chain message passing on DOT to Akala. So they are already partnered with Akala here, and they're already like these projects like Akala, like Kilt, they're on the test net already testing this stuff. One of the ideas of DOT that makes it so great is that all these different parachains will be able to talk to each other, and they're already testing that out, and they've had user cross-chain message passing already. So yeah, Kilt is going to be amazing.
Yeah, and they're partnering. I mean, you know, there's a lot of good projects like PDEX. As you know, we got a little bet going on between PolkaSwap and PDEX. They've partnered with Kilt, and so you know, all the right things are happening there, and I think it's going to be absolutely huge. And
huge. The other thing I just want to touch on, because when you brought up when someone in the chat brought up Energy Web token, which I love.
Yeah.
I love Energy Web.
EWT.
And the other thing is Ocean Protocol. I kind of put them in the same bucket, which is I'm curious about these projects because I always thought that Energy Web and Ocean would get a Parachain, and I still lean that way. But the other thing about
I'm not so sure about Ocean
is
getting it.
Well, Ocean did. They've come out saying that they will build on PolkaDot eventually, but this is where I'm curious to see what actually ends up happening, because there's going to be so much interoperability with PolkaDot and the other chains. will projects that have established themselves on other chains, like Energy Web is its own chain.
Right.
Does it need a parachain, or is it just going to be able to work seamlessly with PolkaDot because of the interoperability built into some of the parachains? Like someone in the chat mentioned Moonbeam, and Moonbeam, I think, is obviously going to be a huge project as well.
Yeah.
But what they're doing is creating kind of an Ethereum compatibility. So anyone who built on Ethereum will easily be able to transfer their project over to PolkaDot using Moonbeam. So that sort of thing, I wonder if that will stop certain projects that have already built out from trying to get their own parachain and just kind of having the seamless transfer over to PolkaDot. That's still to be seen, but that's one of the things I'm most curious about.
Yeah, that's super interesting. I'm curious about that too. We're at 142 people watching us here, Milty, listening to us here. 82 likes. Smash the likes, guys. Super chats are live. I did notice we've got a couple super chats. We're gonna take a peek at those soon. You got anything left in the Parachain realm there? There's a couple things too on this end I'd like to chat about. I think that's enough for today. Whoa. We just got a thumbs down, Milton. We got another thumbs down. We're 2 thumbs down and 87 likes.
Well, look, I can't control the thumbs down on the day that I'm talking about the greatest thing that's going to happen to crypto in the last couple of years, these Parachains and PolkaDot. Okay, I'm more excited about this than anything in crypto in the last little while. That includes DeFi, includes NFTs, like the design of PolkaDot and these parachains, how it's going to work, how the interoperability is going to work with other chains. I just am so excited to finally find out what this is all about. So someone wants to thumbs down that. That's
they removed the thumbs.
Their problem.
They removed the thumbs down. It's now been a thumbs up. We're at 94 thumbs up. Well, I think crypto's tough, right? It's kind of the Google effect. People want results and they want it now. They want a 10x tomorrow. They don't want to wait a month, 2 months, 6 months, a year for that 10x or that 100x or that whatever parabolic move, right? And I think that's one of the short-sightedness that most retail investors have, is that they're looking for that gain, and if they're not getting it fast enough, they're bored and they move somewhere else. And
well, this is because when you were working on your sound, I was plugging my old video for when I first talked about parachains. It was 6 months ago now.
6 months ago, right? And so
I said it was the next huge thing in crypto 6 months ago. Okay, so I was a little off with the timing of it, but
no, you weren't.
That's got to prove to people how excited I am about this.
You weren't. And 6 months is not a long time. Creating wealth and investing in the right things and getting those gains. Crypto has kind of screwed all that up, and I'm just as guilty of FOMOing in and out of things too fast and not waiting. But one thing's for sure, and I've gone, and we both have gone super bullish and big into DOT and the ecosystem of DOT, and it is coming. And so these things are critical. And if you really believe in it, do your own research. This is not financial advice. Nothing we say on this channel is financial advice. It's just our own opinions. Read the disclaimer below. If you believe in it, do your own research. As these things come out, don't get mad later that you didn't research it properly and didn't make the right moves at the right time. You can focus on what's pumping today, but if you do that, I'm sorry, you might get hit and hurt. And so we're always trying to look to the future and provide you guys with the best intelligence possible towards where things are moving. And Parachains, PolkaDot, and all of this goodness is, I think, the future is going to be absolutely massive. Massive. Can you hear me now? I think so. All right. Melty, 132 people. Did I interrupt you away from something? I know you're pumping your old vids, trying to get the views on the old vids there, Milt.
No. I just wanted to say that is okay. Parachains are coming. This was a good kind of precursor to us when we finally get to talk about the auctions and stuff like that. So I think that's enough for today on Parachains, but know that if you're a crypto wiser, okay, we're going to be talking about this. Once this starts up, we're talking Parachains on this channel, okay? We're not like these other YouTubers who, for the most part, have just not given DOT enough love.
Not at all. Not at all. Listen. I mean, there's a lot going on in the space. I do want to just take over from you here, if that's okay, for your screen for a second, because I think we've gone through about 1,000 of your tabs so far. Before my mic cut out, there was some news here that eBay, the largest auction website in the world, you can now buy NFTs on eBay, and blockchain driven collectibles are coming soon. This is pretty big news. I mean, obviously NFTs are blowing up, Milt. We know there's a lot of marketplaces, but eBay is following suit and allowing the ability to buy NFTs and buy and sell on their platform. So I thought that was quite bullish news. I wanted to put it out there. Yeah, I wanted to put it out there. I do see some big super chats coming through. I do see that. DJ Wisdom has got a big super chat. Well, let's just take a peek at what we've got going on. Whoa. Sorry about that. Milton, did that wake you up?
Wow. Jesus, I'm awake. Marv, I'm awake. I did not off there for a second, but I'm awake now. Holy smokes.
All right, DJ Wisdom, are you gentlemen moving out of ETH? I'm contemplating leaving ETH completely. These fees and delays are destroying crypto. That's a great question. I'll answer first, Milty, and then it's a great question. From my side, because the reason I'm saying that is because I did just make a big move on this, as you know, Milton. I have a massive bag of ETH. It made up a big part of my portfolio. I'm still extremely bullish on it, but I have sold over 40% of my bag of ETH over $4,000. Over $4,000 was my sale point, and so I've removed 40% of my ETH to move into DOT and a couple of others for the time being. Does that mean that I'm not bullish on ETH? Absolutely not. I still have a massive bag of it. Milton, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that was a super smart move. You were holding more ETH than I was. I have my ETH bag. I'm not touching it yet. I've got I shared that my top 10 bags. ETH is my number 2, and I haven't sold any yet. Now, waking up to these gas prices, or the last couple of days, I forget when these gas prices exploded. The last couple of days, ETH has gone back to crazy gas. I will say I have already adapted to being in a multi-chain universe. So I got a bunch of resources in Binance Smart Chain right now. I'm waiting on DOT. I've got a ton invested in DOT and Kusama. And then I've got, obviously I've already said, I'm in PolkaSwap already. I've got stuff in there. Other chains, I've experimented with. So now that I'm not giving up on ETH, I still think that ETH is going to be the dominant chain, the dominant ecosystem. But times like this, when gas prices go insane, like they have in the last couple of days, I just leave it alone. I just consider those bags stagnant. I don't even really think about trading on ETH when gas prices are super intense, unless there's something really specific that I want to get, a new coin that's come out or something like that. I'll just let it cool off for the next few days, and I'll play around on Binance Smart Chain and some of the other chains. So I've already kind of deployed my assets across multiple chains, so that when ETH gets like it is now, like today, the last couple of days, I don't think it's going to last like this for a long period of time. I think it will relax. Like the last few weeks, it's been actually pretty cheap to work on ETH. So I think you want to be multi-chain, but in terms of an investment, I'm still going to be heavy ETH. ETH will still be one of my top 3 bags, probably for, I don't know. I can't really see that changing.
Yeah, no. And, I just want to make it clear. For me to sell 40% of my portfolio of ETH is not an easy thing to do, okay? Because I don't want to lose any ETH. I think ETH could easily hit $5,000, $10,000 this bull run, right? But for me, it was the smart thing to do. And sometimes being smart is not an easy thing to do in crypto. For me, I've been accumulating ETH back since $200 or less, right? In the last bear. And so I have to take some of those profits off the table. I'm going to kick myself either way, right? If it goes down, I'm happy in the short term. But if it goes up, I'm going to kick myself, right? And so it's tough. Either way, it's going to be a tough position, but it was the right thing to do. And so, yeah, it's not that I'm...
No, it was a really smart investing move. And yeah, did you sell the top? Who knows? Probably not. ETH could go higher in the short term from here. But pull up my screen again, because I did show the audience this chart at the top of the show. This is the DOT Ethereum chart. Now, there are other ones that look like this right now because Ethereum has pumped. Now, from a smart investing point of view, and Marv, obviously you're a great crypto investor and you have great instincts for this stuff.
So thank you.
the best play would have been so early January, DOT was down against ETH. Okay, so if you had sold your ETH and went into DOT in early January and rode this wave, this is the DOT coin versus the ETH coin. You're seeing how much gain you would have gotten against ETH. Now the opposite has happened, right? So at this point, at this top here in March, early March, if you had traded your DOT for ETH and rode this kind of ETH wave, was really smart. So now that we see that these top coins against ETH are kind of hitting almost all-time lows, I think from an investing point of view, to take some of your ETH off the table and put it into any of the charts that look like this, where they've kind of crashed opposite ETH, just from and obviously not financial advice, but this is just kind of a simple, basic sell high, buy low scenario. And it just depends on what your bags are, because I do think everyone should have bags that they hodl for Bitcoin, ETH, and now I put DOT in that category too. Those are my 3 bags that I think everyone needs a little bit of that to hodl, put it away, don't even think about it. But from your trading bags, if right now you were to say, I'm going to take a little bit of ETH off the table, put them into some of these other coins, doesn't even have to be DOT, but that would be my favorite. But even some of the other major coins, maybe a Chainlink or a Solana or, any of the Cardano or even a Binance chain, Binance token. If you see the chart like this, where it's already gone up huge and now it's crashed versus ETH, that's why you want to look at the charts for both against the US dollar, against Bitcoin, and against ETH, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's super helpful. Super helpful, Milton. Now, there is a sleeping giant that I want to talk about because the show is dragging on. It's dragging on. We've got 135 people, 104 likes. Thank you guys all so much. It means the world to us. I want to talk about a sleeping giant, Milton. And the truth is, we've talked about it a little bit, and we gave everybody the opportunity to get involved and participate on the public sale of this project. Do you guys know what I'm about to talk about? Because, Milt, do you know what I'm about to talk about?
Oh, I definitely know what you're talking about, because I'm excited about this one. Talking about ETH, speaking of a project on ETH that I'm excited about, I'm going to break my rule and pay for some gas to get this, to get more of this baby. Because I think in the next couple of weeks, this one could pump big time.
Yeah, I do too. I think it's a sleeping giant. I picked some up on the Balancer when it was on Balancer. We told you guys it was coming to Balancer. It went as low, I think, as $6 on Balancer, but it started at 25 and it was up and down all around. As you know, how Balancer works. We talked about it on the last show. But in terms of sleeping giant, Lixir is doing everything right. Lixir.finance is the website. They are not a sponsor of the channel. They are a project that we found early days, and we are super, super bullish on. Now, they talk about the fact that the bootstrapping pool sale has ended, and it was a great success. At the same time, one thing that's for sure, Lixir is a sleeping giant in the sense that we are one of the only influencers talking about it. Well, that was until about yesterday or the day before, and we're starting to see a lot of chatter happening, especially on Twitter. We've got some big-time guys like Lex Moskovsky on Twitter, who's got over 47,000 followers, has been talking a lot about it over the last 24 hours. He says, I'm intrigued by the value add of Uni V3 liquidity managers. Lix Finance in particular seems to be ambitious enough to be an entire platform, not just a keeper. The load-bearing points of DeFi are changing, and this competes with old school inflationary rewards. He goes on to say, however, projects will still want easy ways to incentivize mining their particular pools, and it's here that I think Lixir will really shine as a platform. Lixir will enable exactly this. Projects that have pools on Lixir will be able to offer high and optimized APYs on Uni V3 while configuring parameters for how rewards should be given and in what ranges, all with the push of a button. He then, though, does disclaim that we as a fund have a position in Lix, so take everything I've tweeted with a grain of salt and do your own research. It's pretty much impossible to buy the token in size now, so you'll have a week until the launch of the app and liquidity mining program, enough for in-depth research. So it is clear that Lixir, the actual app is launching within a week or so. Right now would be a really good time. It's been up and down on the day. I mean, I'm seeing it at over $11 now, Milton. Holy smokes. I mean, it was at $70 before we started the show here, and volume is increasing. So obviously word is getting around on this project. So yeah, listen, one thing's for sure, I want to bring you guys unbiased sleeping giant type stuff. And for this, Lix is definitely one of them. There's, do you remember that? What's the? I just want to see the total supply of Lix, if I can.
It's 10 million. It's a tiny supply. 10 million total supply.
Total supply, but only a fraction of that is circulating right now. And I know for a fact all the private sale guys are locked up for a minimum of 6 months with some vesting along the way. So yeah. I'm really, really, really bullish on this. I know we're going to talk more and more about this project likely as it continues. Want to keep an eye on it. I think it's important. I think it's a project that everybody should add to their bidar at the very least. Do your research, not financial advice. They're doing really big things. I like the team a lot. They're undergoing some significant audits right now, and I believe the marketing is just underway. So it's very likely that a lot of people are going to be talking about this project really soon, Milton.
Yeah, I agree with you on this one. As someone who put in a lot of liquidity on Uniswap over the last years, it was probably around this time last year that I started adding into these liquidity pools on Uniswap. I love version 3 and I love what they've done with it, but I'm not going to add liquidity without something like Lixir. That's why I love Lixir, because to be able to understand exactly like what range, and for people who don't know what we're talking about, go back, watch some of our previous live shows, because we did explain version 3 of Uniswap on there. The liquidity, you don't just add your liquidity and you choose a range, and this is going to help make that liquidity as efficient as possible. But to do that manually makes no sense. That's why projects like Lix, the dev team behind Lix, so smart. They jumped on this right away and they said, look, we recognize this is going to be a problem with Uniswap version 3. It's not even a problem, it's an opportunity, because obviously the designers of Uniswap knew that this was going to create these sort of projects that automate, help you add liquidity to Uniswap and get the most yield out of it, get the most efficiency out of your capital. And so I'm not putting liquidity in Uniswap version 3 until I can start using Lix. Yeah, so I think there's probably a lot of people like me who are, when they discover Lix and if it works the way they say that it's gonna work, and I believe, knowing a little bit about the devs behind it, I believe for sure it's gonna work. And so, yeah, I think it has great potential.
I think this thing's going to go absolutely parabolic when the word spreads. I know we're a small channel, but when we do find a gem like this, we want to bring it to you and want to bring it to you quick. And that's why we told you guys about it before the balancer pool as well. So there's been opportunities, but it just came out on Uniswap. It is available. Check it out. Do your own research. Still think it's a huge gem, and I think that you're going to start hearing about it all over the place very, very soon. Milton, we've got 147 people here on this show, 146, 111 likes. You guys are absolutely amazing. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. Check out some of our old videos, especially Milton's. You'll like his better than mine, trust me. Milton, it's been a blast, my friend. It's been a blast.
It sure has. It's been good to be back. It was good to be able to last through a full episode this time.
I know. I'm really sorry about those mic problems at the beginning. I don't know what the hell's going on, man. It was all pre-tested, ready to go.
Well, you know what? I say that we're still in beta. We're still in beta for these live shows. When these crypto projects launch, they're in beta forever. So I think we're allowed to be in beta for a couple of weeks while we work out the kinks of the show. But Benjamin is saying that we missed a super chat.
Did we miss a super chat, Benjamin? Did we miss a super chat? It's very possible. I'll take a quick look here. Let me take a quick look.
I want to leave the super chat hanging. So if anyone has a dying question before we take off today, send it in. Well, Marv looks to see if he missed out on any.
We missed a couple of super chats, okay? We've got a couple of super chats.
We should quickly talk about them because
all right. I was getting ready to go, I was getting ready to go. It's been a long show, but you're right. I've turned the horn down, so you don't need to plug your ears anymore. Vapor Smooth, $5. Thank you so much for the support. If time can give you your thoughts on low orbit crypto canon, please. I have no idea what the hell he's talking about. Milton?
I have no idea. I think this is one we're going to just have to write down and have a look at it and talk about it in an upcoming show.
Yeah. Thank you, though.
Yeah. But we thank you for your super chat. And anytime you give a super chat to us, trust us, we're going to take the time to have a look at your project. And if we think it's something worth talking about on the show, we will.
Yeah, we will. Now, I'm looking here. Oh, I found it. Benjamin, the man, he gets a horn because I like this guy. Now, listen, Benjamin, I don't know why I see you there in the gym flexing the muscle. This is a crypto channel, by the way, so you should maybe put some crypto stuff there.
Benjamin, I mean, look, hats off to you for being that buff, but clearly you're not spending enough time looking at crypto.
No, you're too busy working out. No one in crypto can
have a body like that. You can't have a body like that and keep up with crypto.
Absolutely not. Anyways, Benjamin, thank you so much. Love the content, guys. Question, what is Polyelastic Polex, and why did it go 17% in 2 days? I don't understand the tech behind it. Melton? I don't know.
Well, I have it up on my screen here.
Okay.
Polex. I've never heard of this thing. I didn't watch it. It's up almost 200%. Looks like it just came out. So yeah, it's just come out. So let's see here. Trading volume 130 million. Jeez.
Whoa. Can we check out the website?
It's available on KuCoin. Yeah, let's have a quick look at the website here. The index of elastic finance. I don't really love this elastic finance stuff. All-in-one token. What does it say? Binance Smart Chain project. Yeah, I'll have to spend some time looking at this. Now, going back to the chart, I think it's kind of calmed down a bit. I mean, it's a new coin, so it's hard to know. But that is a big jump here with a lot of volume. So yeah, I'll look into it. I'll see what's going on. It's an aggregator, purposely stacked, curated basket of assets. Yeah, I'm going to have to spend some time on this one, Benjamin.
Yeah, spend some time on it. There is another question there asking, can you help walk me through how to buy Lix on Uniswap? Well, we can't help walk you through it, but one thing we can do is we can add, we will update the description in this with a link to the proper contract on Uniswap for it. Maybe that will help. What do you think? Yeah,
for sure. Make sure, guys, anytime you are buying on Uniswap, make sure you have the right contract address. There's so many scam tokens out there. An easy way is CoinGecko, but even better yet, get it from their official Twitter or their official website. Make sure you're copying, pasting the right contract in a Uniswap. We can definitely post the Lix one in the description if people are interested.
Yeah, 100%. And we are working towards, we want your opinions. We're coming up with some contests to help incentivize the channel, get more viewers, get some more of those likes, because you guys it's hard to get likes out of you guys sometimes. But anyways, yeah, we're working on the channel. So we're still in beta mode, as Milton says, of this live show. We're having fun with it. We're trying to bring you the latest and greatest in terms of research and content when it comes to crypto. And what's working for us, we want to share it with you. Milty, I've got the music playing because I'm pretty sick and tired of this show now. And I'm getting tired. And I've got a lot to do. Crypto's been moving.
Leave them wanting more. Leave them wanting more.
Leave them wanting more. Exactly. It's been real, my friend. Thank you guys all so much. We love you. We love you. Smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Milton, as always, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you, Marv.
We'll talk soon. This is Milton and Marvin, and we are over and out.